They're just a couple of little laughing machines. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. I make mom and lifestyle videos, so if you enjoy that kind of content, make sure you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Today I'll be sharing Elena's 4-month update. It'll mostly be about her and a little bit about me, but I don't have too much going on with my postpartum these days, so it'll mostly be about Elena. And of course Georgia. So amazingly, both of my kids are asleep right now. This is probably only the second time that that's happened since Elena has been born. So I almost don't know what to do with myself and my 2 free hands. Elena is asleep in the bassinet in the other room, and Dominic is taking his nap upstairs. Now, whether or not one of them wakes up partway through this video, we'll see. As far as Elena's weight, she is probably almost 11.5 pounds. She hasn't had her 4-month doctor's appointment yet because our doctor is out of the office at the moment, but she'll have that next week and we'll be able to get an exact weight. She's definitely still on the small side, but Dominic was as well, so I'm not too worried about it, and she seems perfectly satisfied with eating. With Dominic, we ended up supplementing him formula for about half of what he needed. I had really low milk supply with him. With Elena, it's a lot better, but it's still on the lower side. But she never seems like she's fussy after she's done eating. She always seems like she has enough, and she's been making plenty of dirty and wet diapers, so I don't think there's an issue there. I think my kids just don't eat a lot. We'll see if the doctor recommends doing anything else next week. She has pretty much settled into a routine, not particularly a schedule, because I try to do everything just as what she needs. So her feeding and her naps are just whenever she seems hungry. But we kind of have a little bit of a routine. Usually she eats a few times in the morning and then she'll take a morning nap. Usually she does that upstairs in her bassinet. That's nice. It gives me a little time to get ready for the day and to get Dominic up and going and get him started on some breakfast. After her nap, she usually does tummy time in the living room for a bit, and she loves watching Dominic. That is probably the highlight of her day. She loves giggling at him, and if he is doing something that he's laughing, she just laughs back. They're just a couple of little laughing machines. It's hilarious. I have a little bit on video, so I'll put that in here. For the most part, Dominic is really good with her. He likes to make her laugh, and then he laughs back at her. Sometimes he gets a bit rough. He's only about 2 1/4, so I don't think he's trying to hurt her or anything. He just doesn't really know what's appropriate with a baby. But when they're together, we're always right next to them to make sure that he doesn't do anything that would actually hurt her. He's pretty attentive to her. For instance, if she's taking a nap and starts to cry, he will hear it and he'll point and say, "Sissy, sissy." So he is so far being a really good big brother. Something that I haven't really noticed in my day-to-day, but I was looking at older pictures today, I noticed her hair seems to be definitely thinning out. It seemed a bit thicker and darker when she was first born, and around this age is also when Dominic started to lose his baby hair, and then he was almost bald, just had some peach fuzz for a few weeks, and then he started growing in what's now his toddler hair. I have some pictures of Dominic that are actually when he was just a little bit older, I think around 5 to 6 months. And when Dominic sees those pictures, he points at it and says, "Sissy." They looked really like as babies, and she is looking almost exactly like he did in those pictures. So for the most part, I just nurse Elena, and I'm trying to build my freezer stash. Right now, she really only takes a bottle if I'm gonna be gone for a few hours, and whoever's babysitting, usually my mom or my sister, need to give her a bottle or 2. But my husband and I are planning on being out of town, just the 2 of us, for a few days this fall. So I'm trying to build my freezer stash big enough that my mom can just give her the frozen milk and won't have to worry about formula. Right now I have about 1 day's worth. Since my supply is on the lower side, I usually only get about an ounce a day. but if I'm consistent about pumping every single day and get about an ounce, we should be fine by then. For a while, I was using the LV Curve. It is getting some extra like letdown milk from that. I did a review and how-to video, I'll link to it here, but I was generally only getting about half an ounce a day with that, and I think I need a bit more than that. So what I've been doing lately, most of the time, is using my Willow pump. I did a how-to video on that pump as well. I'm thinking about doing a full review video of it. If you would like that, let me know in the comments. But what I've been doing is just using one side of it. At night, Elena usually only needs one side, so I'll put the pump on one side and nurse her on the other. And when she's nursing, that actually helps it collect more milk because you get a better letdown on the other side when she's nursing on one side. So with that, I'm usually getting around 1 ounce at night. Then sometimes I'll also pump during her morning nap, and I can usually get about half an ounce. As long as I'm consistent about it, I'll be able to build my freezer stash pretty well. As far as her sleeping, a couple weeks ago, for the entire week, she actually slept basically through the night. She was sleeping like 7 hours a night, but that only lasted about a week, and now she's sleeping about 5 hours. She's up.
Hi, Georgia. Did you get a toy?
Georgia's toy. You missed. She doesn't let me put her down for nighttime until about midnight, but then she'll sleep till about 5 usually. I'm trying to get her to go to bed a little bit earlier. 11:30 is the earliest I've been able to so far, but hopefully sooner or later she'll be able to get to bed at an earlier hour. She usually naps about 2 or 3 times a day. She naps in the morning and then the afternoon, and sometimes she'll take a short nap in the late afternoon or early evening, but she doesn't always do that one. Elena is a very strong baby. She actually started rolling both ways now. So she started rolling from her tummy to her back when she was 6 weeks and 6 days. And a few days ago, she started rolling from her back onto her tummy. Now, so far, she's only done it in her bassinet. I don't know if it's a little bit easier in her bassinet to do that in her bassinet or if she's getting bored, but that means we're going to have to move her into the crib soon. Right now, we only have one crib and Dominic's in it. His bedroom is pretty much baby-proofed. We just have to get something to secure the cord for his monitor to the wall. So once we get that situated, we will move him out of his crib. We actually have a twin bed that's just on the floor, so we're going to have that be his toddler bed, and then we'll probably move the crib into the master bedroom for her for a couple months, for her to be in there for a little bit before she goes into her own room. She can almost get into a crawling position. She pushes herself up really well, and she's moving her feet a lot. She can kind of inch herself forward. She has slowly inched herself forward about a foot a few times. So I think she's probably going to be an early crawler. She's almost gotten herself into the crawling position a couple times. She also will put weight on her feet. Let's see if she'll do it now. There we go. Not her whole body weight, of course, but she'll push out and put a little bit of weight on her legs. She can't be in the sitting position by herself, but she loves when I hold her in the sitting position. She loves looking around. She smiles a lot. She's really good at social smiling back when you smile at her. She started laughing. Actually, the first day she laughed was on Memorial Day. It's always a holiday with my kids. Dominic's first laugh was on Father's Day, and her first laugh was on Memorial Day. What made her laugh the first time was I gave her raspberries on her belly, and she thought that was hilarious. And then the second time she really laughed was when I was giving Dominic raspberries on his belly in front of her, and he was laughing, and she thought that him laughing was hilarious. As you can probably tell, she loves chewing on her hands. She does that pretty much nonstop. She also likes to reach out to some toys. We have one of those little crinkle toys. She is still enjoying her bath time. She hasn't cried at a bath in a long time. She gets pretty relaxed. Her cradle cap is mostly gone. She still has just a little bit of flaky skin on her head sometimes, but it's not too bad at all. That is pretty much everything for Elena's 4-month update. So I'll move on to how I've been doing 4 months postpartum. Something that's more of a family 4-month postpartum thing is right now we have a crossover SUV and it's only 2 rows, so it's 5 seats altogether, but it is pretty small. We've decided that it is just too small for a family of 4, so we are looking for a new vehicle. At first, I was all gung-ho about the 3-row SUVs. I really wanted one of those. I had thought about minivans, but I just hate the look of minivans and I didn't think I could do it. But I actually saw Colleen Ballinger's video about getting a minivan, and it convinced me that we need a minivan. Those sliding doors are just going to make our lives so much easier, especially because we have a small garage. We have 2 make sure that we don't hit the other car or hit the wall every time we get in and out of the garage. We have to be careful in parking lots. And not to mention that minivans have a lot more space even than a 3-row SUV. So that's what we're looking for. There are a couple problems right now though. There's a massive microchip shortage, so vehicles in general are in much tighter supply. And also we are looking at the Chrysler Pacifica hybrid, and their plant is actually shut down right now. And I've made a bunch of calls over the past couple days. I actually called Chrysler themselves. They don't know when the factory is going to be back up and running again. There are just a handful of the hybrids in the entire country right now. We actually thought about driving to one that was over 300 miles away, but they had an extra $5,000 upcharge since it is now a rare car. Between that and not really knowing for sure what we could get on trade-in and not even knowing for sure if we wanted it, we just didn't feel comfortable doing that. We're also looking at the Toyota Sienna and possibly just going to wait a little bit longer and see if the Chrysler factory reopens. If you guys have any advice on that, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear anything you have to say. Also, if you have kids and you have a particular vehicle that you love or hate, let me know about that in the comments. This past month, I've been trying a little harder to lose some more weight and get back in shape. I've lost about 5 pounds. My weight is low enough that I'm not really having any issues with my knees. I've been around 139, 140 this week, and about 150 is where my knees hurt. So I'm glad that I'm below that. I did join the Y the other day. They had a flash sale where they waived the initial fee. I haven't gone yet because it's a little bit overwhelming thinking about taking 2 kids out in the car by myself. Usually my husband helps me when I take both of them out. The first few times I go, I think I might just have my mom watch the kids here and I'll go by myself. And I think that will probably be a little bit easier. That's about everything for our 4-month update. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.